All right, I think we can get started now. Welcome in, everyone. Today we're just going to be having a little bit of a chatting stream, and then if all goes well, maybe I'll play some Monster Hunter afterwards. But today we're going to be talking about the little break I went on, I guess a little over a week ago now, where Riku and I went to first LA and then Portland. I have things ready for this so I can show off the pictures and all that. Give me a little guidelines on what to talk about, how things went. So I say LA and Portland, but we really only spent one day in LA because I didn't really want to stay in LA for very long. I hate the traffic. I don't like being in cars if I'm not the driver. And yeah, we just kind of flew in, went to the concert, and left. So that's where we'll start though. So, our day one, the only day we were in LA, we went to the Maury Calliope concert, Grimoire. And it was a complete vibe. I think she brought really good energy to the show. The crowd was super into it. The visuals were awesome. The band was great. The live band did a great job. Yeah, overall it was just a lot of fun. Everybody had their light sticks out. It was kind of great just watching them all wave in time with each other. I don't know how they choreography or communicate what they're supposed to be doing at any given time, but people seem to have it figured out, and that's pretty awesome. I didn't take any pictures in the concert because we weren't really supposed to, so I just grabbed these off of Maury Calliope's Twitter. But yeah, LA was fairly uneventful, at least for me. I got in around 2-ish. Riku is also supposed to be around, or getting in around that same time, because we were going to try to head up to a store before the concert, the Hololive pop-up shop. But unfortunately, American Airlines, I think he was on, said no, and they got delayed for about 3 hours or so. So he ended up just making it to the hotel right before the concert, and we ended up just getting changed of clothes, hopping out to the Uber, and heading on out for an hour in the Uber to go 20 miles. If that. Might have been even less than that. It was not great. Very stop and go. It made me very motion sick. Reminded me why I hate taking cars if I'm not the driver. And made me very happy that we were only spending a single day in LA because we'd probably have to Uber a bunch of different places. But in the end, we made it a little late to the concert, but we did make it. We were standing in the back, around here, somewhere over here in this direction. We were over here, or from this view, we were over here in the corner. But we could still see the stage, and it was awesome. All the effects they had were really cool. Yeah, overall, it was just a good time. Pretty much, we went to the concert, went back to the hotel, grabbed some mediocre food from the the hotel restaurant thing. I got a pizza. It was mediocre. It was pizza. And Riku had some, if I remember correctly, some very not great wraps. So, but that's fine. We left the next day to go to Portland. We landed in Portland. It was an easy flight. We did get a little bit delayed. I don't remember exactly why we were delayed, but we ended up being delayed for 20 minutes. But in the end, we landed 5 minutes after we were supposed to originally, so it wasn't a big deal. And after that easy flight, we just hopped over to our hotel, which was the Jupiter Hotel, which was certainly a hotel of all time. It's an older hotel. Well, the Jupiter Hotel has two parts. They have Jupiter Next and then just the Jupiter Hotel. We stayed in the normal Jupiter Hotel, which is the older one. And you can definitely tell it's a little older. The floors were definitely a bit thin. We could hear our upstairs neighbors basically practicing tap dance all day and night. But it's whatever. We didn't spend a lot of time in the hotel room itself because we were out exploring. But yeah, it's just a hotel. Not really much to say about it. My biggest complaint though is I don't know if it just didn't have great ventilation, but it would get super humid if we left, especially if somebody showered that day. It just gets super humid in the hotel room. and actually counter that by just running the fan in the bathroom pretty much 24/7, but it wasn't too bad. But the great part about the Jupiter Hotel is the location. It was like close enough to everything we wanted to do, really, where we didn't really have to Uber all too much. So it was like a quick walk to some good restaurants, like a maybe 10-minute walk to Old Town, which you can see here. That's the sign from the bridge over from where we were staying. Very neat little sign. It would do little sparkles and stuff like that. This picture is from Riku. And then, yeah, the day 2, we didn't really do too much because we got in like middle of the day. But we did hop over to Powell's City of Books, which was definitely an experience. It's supposed to be one of the largest bookstores in the US, and you could definitely tell. It's multiple stories, large layout, and it was incredible. And as you can see, I definitely bought some books. Well, one of them is a notebook. You can see I do have a little bookmark, which was a credit card, or not a credit card, but a game card from the arcade that we did on the last day, which we'll talk about later. I've started the Hexologist. It's pretty good so far. I need to do some more reading tonight. I'm going to try to get back into reading regularly and not just doing audiobooks. So hopefully that'll help me with getting my focus back on track. I've definitely struggled a little bit with actually staying focused on the book, but habits will hopefully help fix that. Yeah, you might see a theme in the books I picked, at least these 3. But I did grab this as well because I do like sci-fi horror, and I have another friend who also likes sci-fi horror. So after I finish that, I'll probably lend it out to them if they haven't read it already, which they very well might have. I don't have a picture of it, but this night we did also go to one game store called, it's like Mox's Boarding House or something like that. It's a pretty nice game store. It's where TCG Kingdom or something like that is based out of, which if you've bought singles before for any card game, you've probably seen that name. You could definitely tell because they had like a big ol' Magic catalog there that you could look through, as well as a little desk you could look up singles to buy. And it was a pretty active store. There was already people playing games and stuff like that. There was like a section where you could actually order food and like a private board game area you could rent out as well. It was a really cool store. Did not get any pictures because I don't normally take pictures in stores, which is why I stole this picture from their website of Powell's. But yeah, it was a good first day, I think, in Portland. But after we went to Powell's, we went around the corner to Farmhouse Kitchen Thai Cuisine, which was incredible. It was probably the best meal we had while we were there, in my opinion. I got the fried chicken, blue rice. I don't remember what this is, but those are potatoes. I don't remember that with the sauce. It was so good. Riku got the overflowing ramen. I don't remember what it was called, but I think it's pork. But I don't quite remember. I tried a bit of it, and it was so good. Melts in your mouth level of good. Their whole vibe was just amazing. It's very wacky, as you can tell by the drinks and just the plating. I have the Cloud9 here. This is like cotton candy. It had an ice cube in the middle of it. That was just like lighting up and flashing. You just drop that all into the drink and mix it up. And Riku had I think they called it the Meow Mule. The Meow Mule. I think a better name would have been the Meowscow Mule, but that's just me. It's just a Moscow Mule in the cat glass there, which is also flashing at you the entire time. Then up on the screen, you can kind of see it in this picture. They just had a constant video reel of like them making food, and that just made me hungry and hungrier, and I just needed to eat everything. But it was just so good and reasonably priced as well. Everyone was really nice there, and it's just, if you're ever in Portland, I definitely think that's somewhere you need to go. It's delicious. I'm getting hungry again just looking at it. But on to day 3. Day 3 we did our hike because we were supposed to be like rainy every day after this, so we were like, let's just go on a hike the one nice weather or day of nice weather we're supposed to get. So we started by Ubering up to Piddock Mansion. which even though we were like Ubering out to the woods, it was only still like a 10-minute, 15-minute Uber at most, which was a very long Uber because our Uber driver sure liked to chat. They would make a very good just chatting streamer, we can say that. I did try to cut in from time to time, and it was just apparent that he was not going to have any of that and would just keep talking. So at some point, I just started making noises of positive affirmations, like, yep, I see, and just repeat that for like 15 minutes. He also would mispronounce shawarma as swarma, and that just bothered me for a while, and it still does to this day, and I'll never forget it, I think. Swarma. No. But anyway, we Ubered up into Pittock Mansion, going around a lot of curvy, very narrow roads. And Pittock Mansion's like basically just an old rich person's house. Like, we looked at all the boards. I should know what like time frame it was, but I'm just gonna say 1800s because I'm lazy. So you can see all like the old stuff they had in here, like the intercom throughout the house. They could like call different areas of the house with. The really old shower that probably worked better than our hotel shower. Very fancy rooms with incredible views, though. Made me very, very jealous, but it was a nice little tour. I don't think it was necessary for us to go through, but it was a fun little blast to the past. And after we went to the Pittock Mansion, we were just going to go on a hike. We went on to, I think it's called the Burnside Trail. Something like that, where it would take us all the way down to the Japanese gardens, which we were planning on walking through. And we got some pictures from that as well. Just a lot of redwood trees, just walking along this dirt trails, a lot of exposure to nature that I desperately needed after being in LA. And spending the rest of the time in the city. It was a great hike. The weather was absolutely perfect for it. And it was in Washington Park, I should say. That's where the trails were. I got some really good nature pictures. Not all of them are shown here, of course. I really like this one where this is up at Pittock Mansion, where you're basically looking over the city at the top of the hill, and you can see the mountain. I don't know what mountain that is, but you can see the mountain out in the distance. It's just an incredible view, and I'm really glad we did get to take the Uber up there and go see all those views. Also got some nice little wildlife pictures of this squirrel right here. As I was taking this one, I did tip over my bag and drop a lens, and that immediately spooked the squirrel, and unfortunately this is the only picture I've got of this one, but I think it turned out pretty well. Also got this one here just hanging out in a tree, eating some nuts. I really like taking pictures of wildlife, if you could not tell. It's one of my favorite things to do with my camera, and I do count my dogs as wildlife, just in case you were wondering. But after our nice hike, we did get down to the Japanese gardens, but it turns out they close at like 3:30, and we got there at like 3:10. So we decided that $20 is not worth 20 minutes in the gardens, so we just Ubered back to our hotel and went in to look for some food, which we did find. We went to another Thai place because we were just in a Thai mood. This one was a lot smaller, more of a mom and pop shop, where it has the farmhouse Thai cuisine place. Actually has a couple different locations, including one in LA. This was definitely more of a smaller, single store, mom and pop shop, where we got pork and rice. I think we both got pork and rice, and it was incredible. It was also very melt in your mouth goodness. This place was a recommendation by another one of our friends, and it did not disappoint, and it only took us one trip around the block to figure out where the door was, and that was a good little walk that we definitely did not need after a long hike. But we did it. The food is great, delicious. Riku learned that the warning on the door, or the little refrigerator where he grabbed the chilies out of, that says, "Be careful, these are actually spicy, do not dump them all over your food," was not for show. It was a real warning, and he did it anyways, and he regretted it. And it was very funny to watch him just sweating and sniffling as he tried to eat his food with the chilies he dumped all over it. But I think he'll even say that's still an incredible meal. I'd say that's probably number 2 for our meals of the trip. both Thai places. Apparently Portland has really good Thai food. Who would have guessed? But after that, we went... I only have one picture of this, and it's of this brick wall, but we went on a haunted tour kind of thing around the city, around Old Town, I should say, where we just were basically guided to various haunt spots and learning about the dark history of Portland and other things that would cause haunts to take place. Our tour guide was great, very much dressed to fit the part, like a black and red corset and flowing dress, had a little iron lantern kind of thing as well, so you could tell she was the guide. She was incredible. I do not have her name or her card because I'm dumb, but Riku might. But it was a great little walk around Old Town in the dark, learning about the dark history, such as back in the day when it was just really a shipping port. People would go to like bars and stuff and get dropped down through trapdoors, and where they'd be trapped and then eventually sold to ships in the port as hard labor. And there was one time at least where there was a major flood in the city, and the people who were trapped in those trapped door areas drowned because they could not get out. So that's just one fun fact you might find on such a tour. Yeah, it was a good time. This brick wall apparently the parking lot itself is on top of a like Indian burial ground or a Native American burial ground, and with like calls to people, nothing that gets built on this place lasts for long. Several building fires, even the brick building that this wall was a part of also burnt down. People say that they get like called to this brick wall to touch it, to feel it, to pull bricks down from it, that they'll see like faces, hear screams from it and stuff like that. I didn't see anything. I still think it was pretty cool, the whole tour itself. And yeah, it was a fun time. I definitely like doing haunted tours like that. When Riku and I went to the UK, we did a similar kind of tour, except it was inside a prison that I also do not remember the name of. But again, he might remember because we talked about it during this trip. But one of the oldest prisons in the UK. We did like a whole walkthrough of it. It was fun. I do like those things. But yeah, after that, we ended the day by going to Zinding Dumpling House, as you can see here. We managed to just barely beat a huge crowd. We got sat down just as people started filing in. And we got way too much food. We got some sliced cucumbers. We got like 3 different kinds of dumplings. Or 2 different... Yeah, we got 2 different kinds of dumplings, and then pot stickers, which are not pictured here because they came out a good bit later. But they were really good. No complaints there. Again, I don't think it was better than the Thai places, but probably number 3. The main plus about the Zinding Dumpling House is that they are open late, because a lot of places here close around 9 p.m., which was not ideal when the tour ended around 9 p.m. So it was worth it. It was good. I'm glad we didn't get caught in the crowd. And then we go the next day, where we finally got donuts. We did try to get donuts on day 3. We went to a place right around the corner from our hotel called, oh no, I've forgotten the name. It's like Doe's Delicious, I believe, something like that. Incredible donuts. But the first day we went, day 3, we wanted to go like before the hike, get some donuts. But we walk in at like 10:30 a.m. and they're all out. They literally have like 4 donuts left, and they weren't too appealing to me. And I was very disappointed, very sad, but we did end up getting these really good well, I got a mini burrito. Riku got a full-size burrito, and I think he regretted that. But he also got like hot Thai tea or something like that. Or no, cold Thai tea. He got it on ice. But very filling to put in us before the hike. It was a good stop. We're like, I still really wanted my donuts, so like, you know what? I'm gonna wake up super early on day 4 just so I can go in there, make sure I get donuts on time, because they open up at like 5 a.m. So like, I'll just wake up at 7 a.m., walk over, get some donuts, come back. Riku was like, if I'm awake, I'll go. If I'm not, just leave me behind. I bet. He did end up waking up on time, and we went and got some donuts. and they were all very delicious. We did not, unfortunately, finish them all because this was our last full day, I believe, here in Portland. So we did not finish a dozen donuts in one day. We did finish about 7 or 8 of them, though. We ate 3 right off the bat in the morning, and then I definitely ate 2 or 3 again at night. And I had some regrets, but I would not have changed any of it. I love them so much. But day 4 was all about wrinkling our brain. We went on a submarine tour right off the bat. We walked down the water side all the way down to a place called OMSI, O-M-S-I, the Oregon Science and Industry Museum, I think, something like that. Something like that, yeah. And we just went on the little USS Blueback submarine tour because I think that is really cool. I love seeing feats of mechanical engineering, feats of mechanical engineering. It's really cool to see how it all works. Our tour guide was like an 80-year-old dude who actually did tours on submarines during the Cold War. He was telling us stories about how, like, one time they were just, like, literally sitting underneath a Russian submarine listening in, that kind of thing. I think that's the best kind of tour guide to get, one who has actual experience on these things. But it was a good time. Got to see all the different areas of the submarine. Like, this is the kitchen. This is really all you have for the kitchen. There's another little area over here that's for, like, dishes and stuff like that. And there's, like, a corner around you can go in there. But yeah, it's not a lot of space as you would expect in a submarine. I don't remember what this area is, but they also had, like, the red light areas so people could keep their night vision, stuff like that. It's all very cool, very aesthetic to me. I very much enjoyed my time on the USS Blueback. And you can actually do, like, a stay over the night in the USS Blueback, which I thought was very interesting. I don't know if I would want to do that. I feel like I would get bored pretty quickly not having anywhere to go, but it could be a pretty cool experience. I know they had a similar thing in the prison we did the haunted tour on in the UK, where you could just, like, stay in the prison cells and stuff like that. But yeah, it was a good time, good tour. I would definitely recommend it for anybody who is in the area. But right after that, since we were already there, we went to OMSI, where we kind of just went around the children's museum, basically. You could definitely tell it was a museum targeted towards children. There's a lot of interactive stations that you can do for, like, basic physics stuff and nature stuff. It's just a science museum, interactive science museum, basically. It was a lot of fun to look at. We didn't really do too many activities. We did go look at some bugs and lizards, which is why you can see a little reptilian friend here. And also this strange mechanical device, which is called the mesmometer. And I think the description is something like it was made to measure the amount of, like, how distracted they can make an engineer or something like that, or a scientist. Very neat. I liked it. It's a very cute idea. But we didn't spend all too long there. I don't think we got our money's worth out of OMSI, but it was still worth a walkthrough, and it was worth just going there for the USS submarine, or the USS Blueback submarine tour, regardless. But after that, we decided we had enough and left, and we were walking back to the hotel because it wasn't really too far. And we're looking for food. We found something on Google's map called Wolf's Head, which had some good smash burgers by the sounds of it. So we started walking that way. And as we were walking that way, I'm like, hey, this area doesn't look like where I would find a restaurant. I feel like I might get mugged. But yeah, we ended up looking for the restaurant where we found, like, the bridge it was supposed to be near. It's actually, like, under the bridge, directly next to the railroad tracks, which currently has a train stopped on it, as you can see here, right across from a warehouse with a bunch of graffiti on it. And we're like, this can't be the right spot, right? This certainly isn't where we're gonna find this burger place, right? But we kept looking around. We ended up walking all the way across, and we found the door. We found the entrance to the Wolf's Head. It's definitely not where I was expecting the restaurant to be, but it was a very clean place, very nice. They gave us incredible smash burgers. I very much enjoyed it. I also got a root beer because I do love my IBC root beer. And yeah, the curly fries were just crispy enough. The burger was cooked great, had all the toppings I needed, and I really enjoyed it. I was not expecting a lot from a place under a bridge across from a graffitied warehouse directly next to the tracks, but shows me for doubting, I guess. I really enjoyed the Wolf's Head. And next, we just kind of walked along the waterfront, went all on our way back to the hotel. You can see they have a lot of really cool drawbridges. They do have a ton of buildings where there's like murals and old, I guess this is like an old advertisement. You can see like the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Creed, the Bare Naked Ladies, just bands you might have heard of if you're old like me. They have really cool art on some of the buildings as well. It's not just all gray glass metal buildings like the one next to it. They have like these just randomly throughout the city, which is really cool. And just this random paddle boat that I found as we were walking across, because why not? But we did make it back to our hotel, where we just hung out for a little bit, resting, until later in the evening. We're like, you know what, it's about time to go get some food, but we have a little bit more time to burn, so what could we do? And we decided to go to Paxton Gate, which is an oddities and curios shop kind of place. And by oddities, I do mean oddities. They have a lot of bones, they have a lot of taxidermy, they have a lot of like random bottles and stuff like that you can see here. They have whatever you want to call this. I actually did really like this, but I didn't like it being like $600. You just had a lot of really weird, interesting things in here. Paxton Gate is definitely a shop that's worth walking through. I did end up buying one of these padlocks, big old metal padlocks you can see in here, because I love the aesthetic of that kind of thing. I also bought like a just $5 little glass ring because I realized I really do like fidgeting with things that are on my finger. And even though I could not fit that on anything but my pinky, I was like, you know what, I'll get it. I'll fidget with it for a while. And I am sad to report I have already lost it. I do not know where it is. I remember putting it into a pocket at some point, and that's the last I remember seeing it. So it may actually last a whole like 4 days, which is longer than a lot of people thought it would last, looking at you, Riku. But I decided that I did want more fidget rings, so you might hear something spinning from time to time, and that would be the fidget ring that I bought. But I did enjoy my time in there. There's a lot of really cool sculptures and like art pieces that I definitely could afford but would not buy them and try to ship them back to me. Like you can see like snake orb. It's an actual snake in that glass orb. Same thing with these like ones in the bottles. Some really, really weird things in there. They had rocks and stuff too, like minerals, crystals. Just a really weird, interesting store to walk through. But after that, we're like, you know what? We don't feel too hungry quite yet. Let's head over to the pinball arcade. Is the snake alive? No, that snake is 100% dead. That is a very dead snake. There's a liquid in this bottle as well. I don't know what the liquid is. I cannot imagine it smells very good though. Yeah, it's sad. I'm hoping that it was dead already, and they just repurposed it instead of killing it for this purpose. Yes, but after that, we went over to the Ground Control Pinball Arcade, or arcade with pinball, whatever you want to call it, because apparently back in the day, pinball was actually outlawed in Portland, because apparently it was too easy to rig or something of that nature. So that's why you'll find like a lot of pinball sorts of places in Portland, because, well, they couldn't have it for a while. So we played a lot of games there. We only got like $20 worth of credits, and that lasted us a good like 2 or 3 hours, which was insane. Not what we were expecting at all. We played Gauntlet, played what's it called, Riptide, the water racing game. Played a bunch of really weird little games, played some pinball. The picture here is Frogger. I decided to play Frogger twice, and I got the 2nd and 5th high score. I definitely think I could have gotten first, but my excuse is that the controls weren't quite as reactive as I was hoping for. I definitely raged a little bit at that game. My first try did a lot better than my second try, though, but I got 2 of my name up on the leaderboard for Frogger, of all things. But overall, it was a lot of fun at the arcade. I definitely would go back there at some time. They have a lot of like tournaments and stuff like that as well, like Mario Kart and fighting games and stuff like that. A lot of fun. Definitely worth going back to. We managed to get in there like maybe 20 minutes before they started doing cover charges, because it's like also a bar. So we kind of lucked out on that, but such is life. I'm glad we did, and we had a really good timing on a lot of things over this trip, except for, you know, flight delays. But good time for day 4. I don't think we didn't do anything special for dinner this night. We went to a Greek place and were left a little disappointed, to be honest, but it was one of the few places that were open late. It was not too far from the first place we went. We made a call, had good reviews, and unfortunately it was probably the worst meal we had while on this trip. But I did not ruin our day, because the day was already super good, and I still got to eat the rest of the donuts. Then that was our last full day in Portland. It was a lot of fun. I think I would go back for sure. There's still a lot more left to do. But day 5, we returned to Pups. We had a really early flight, and because of time zones, we ended up getting back to where I live around like 5 p.m. So like day's half over already. So all we really did was go get picked up from the airport, go get my puppy dogs, picked up Raising Cane's on the way home, and then kind of just chilled for the evening. We put on some videos, just watched, played with the puppy dogs, of course, because I miss them dearly, as I always do. And yeah, we just kind of chilled. But Riku is still going to be here for another day and a half or so. So still have one more day to go through. Day 6, the last day. Riku and I just... A lot of what we did on day 6 was hang around at home. We did go get lunch at one of my favorite restaurants that I did not include here because I don't want to dox myself. And we had a lot of very good food there. It's a Korean place. It's my favorite place to go anytime I go into town, which isn't as often as I would like it to be because I love that food so much. I used to live like right around the corner from it. So it used to be like a weekly thing that I'd go do, but now it's more like a bi-monthly thing. So I do miss it, but we did go get lunch there, and it's delivered as always. Then we came back home, and we did a couple of things. First of all, Riku is very awesome. He bought me a Bionicle for my birthday because we were talking about how we missed Bionicles, and it's just very cool to have one back in the house. I don't know how he found it, but he did. He also got one for himself so we could build them together. He got the green one. I got the cool blue one. Late happy birthday. Thank you very much. My birthday is on 3/3. So I turned 33 on 3/3 because we love the number 3. Yeah, it was a cool thing to build. Very nostalgic for me. We also opened a lot of cards. My other friend, not Riku, recently got me into a card game called Flesh and Blood. If you're familiar with probably Legends of Runeterra, the Riot card game, that's probably the most similar you're going to get. You start off with a hero and a set of equipment, and you basically start off the game at full power. You start full health, full equipment, all that, and over the game, it's basically a battle of attrition. You're fighting and using up resources as you go, and you're just trying to take them out before you run out of resources. It's a very fun game. There's a lot to it that I do not understand yet. I'm trying to get more into it. I definitely bought more cards that are going to be showing up this next week, and I am looking forward to opening them as well. And Riku also got me a set of Hololive cards for my birthday because he's very kind, and I do love them dearly. I love the Hololive girls as well as the Hollow Stars boys, especially Gavis Bettel. He's probably my favorite, but Ina is my Oshi for Hololive. I do love her dearly. Her art streams are very chill and comfy and cozy. I don't think I got an Ina card, but I do have other Ina cards because this isn't the first time that we've gotten Hololive cards, so it's not too bad. I'm so based. Thank you, thank you. I do my best. I'm glad you also have good taste. And then finally, I think the last thing we did, other than just chilling and watching YouTube and stuff, is we did an exit game. For those not familiar with the exit series, it's basically an escape room in a box. It's very fun. It makes you use all parts of the box and the game itself to sort of go through a little escape room adventure. So the one we did, the haunted roller coaster, the story is basically we are in the amusement park, we got onto this ride, we suddenly realize there's nobody really around as we get on, and things are kind of seeming weird. But before we can really question it, the ride kicks off, we go through this portal, and as we enter the next room, the door closes behind us and locks, and the cart stops, and we have to figure out how to get out. I love the exit series. This isn't the first one we've done. I think this might be the third or fourth, which is why you can see I bought more. So next time Riku is over, we'll do another one or two, because it looks like the abandoned cabin and Return to the Abandoned Cabin are a set. So I am looking forward to doing those at some point as well. But yeah, that's really all we did on the last day. I think we ended up just going and getting Wendy's because it's nearby, or McDonald's. I don't remember which one we did. And yeah, nothing too special. We just kind of relaxed, enjoyed our time until he had to unfortunately leave the next day, which I believe is where the slideshow ends. Yes. So really, that was all for the vacation. It felt like it wasn't long enough, but also just the right length. Mostly long enough because I had to go back to work the next day, and nobody wants to do that. But now that leaves me to ponder, where am I going to go next? And the answer is, I don't know. I do think I want to go visit Riku at some point, not during the summer because I am not a masochist and he lives in a desert. I prefer the cold, but probably sometime this year I'll go visit Riku and bully him for a little bit. But next long trip, I am not sure. I do want to go back to Japan. That is on my list. I want to go see some friends who are over there. And just do all the other Japan things I normally do. Especially, I'm really set on the next time I go to Japan. I really want to go snowboarding up north in Hokkaido. It's like been on my list for a long time, and I just have not pulled the trigger yet. So maybe this upcoming year, I might do that. Head up to northern Japan to go snowboarding, then back down to the Tokyo area to hang out with my friend and just do whatever I can around there. I do hate doing longer trips like that nowadays because I have the puppies and I miss them so dearly, as Riku can attest to. He's definitely been with me on the plane as I'm like scrolling through all their puppy pictures and sighing because I can't see them right now. But I do love them. But yeah, if anybody has any recommendations for places to go, I'm always listening. I'm always up to looking into places to go. I do love to travel. I do love doing photography. Not all my pictures are on here because I am in some of them and we don't want to see that. Have I ever visited Europe? I've gone to the UK once for a friend's wedding, but that is about it. I haven't gone anywhere else. I know Riku really wants me to go to Scotland with him because he's been there once and he really loved it. But yeah, there's a lot of places in Europe that I'd really like to go because I am a sucker for castles and old buildings and history, which Europe obviously has a ton of. So yeah, I'm definitely up for going to Europe at some point. Again, I just need to figure out exactly where. That might be one of the next trips with Riku. I believe Riku got a tour guide when he went with his parents to Scotland, and he had a great time. I think he's currently lying on the floor, otherwise he could chime in. He might have fallen asleep, which is reasonable for a Sunday or Saturday. Saturday? Yeah, it's Saturday. But yeah, I do love doing photography and wildlife and landscape photography, so a lot of hiking in Europe could be a great trip for me. as long as I don't have to drive. Last time we went to the UK, I did have to drive because where our hotel was for the last bit of the trip and where our little haunted tour was were very far away, and there was no trains going in that direction. So I had to rent a car, figure out how to drive on the wrong side of the road. And unfortunately, I wanted to just get like a really small car to rent because that's all I really needed. We didn't have a lot of stuff to carry around, so I just wanted like a little small car that I could navigate well. So we got to the like auto rental place and go in like, all right, so we have these cars. I see you got one of the small cars. Do you know they're all manual? Which I did not know because on the website I rented an automatic. They're like, oh, we don't have any of those in automatic. Is manual fine? And I mean, I can drive a manual car. I learned how. I haven't done it in a long time, but I still know how. But I did not want to try to drive a manual while also trying to navigate unfamiliar roads and driving on the wrong side of the road and using the opposite hand I would normally use to operate the manual or the stick shift. So I'm like, no, I think I'd rather just have an automatic. But the only automatic they had was like this big beefy car, like way bigger than I would need, turned like a boat. There's some close calls trying to find our hotel. I ended up going the wrong way down an alleyway and almost could not get out. It was very, very close, but thankfully all ended well in the end. Well, other than the fact that we got stuck in a roundabout. Well, we didn't get stuck in the roundabout. I just turned the wrong place on a roundabout 3 times in a row. It's like we're trying to take the car back to the rental place. We're on the roundabout. Like, okay, I don't remember I can't tell where the GPS is telling us to go. I think this is the right one, and it's wrong. So we take like a 5-10 minute detour, get back to that roundabout. It's like, okay, I think it's this one this time. Nope, we just took the exact same exit again. 10 to 15 minute detour all the way back, and this time for sure, and nope, I took the one after the one we needed this time. Another 10 to 15 minute detour, and then finally the 4th time is the charm apparently, and I got the right exit, managed to get the car returned on time, get to the airport and all that. So it ended up working out fine, but stressful driving. Do not want to do it. I drive enough outside of vacations. I very much like taking vacations places that I do not have to drive, or that I can like just walk and take trains everywhere I need to go. That is the best part about taking a vacation for me, especially like in Japan where there's trains everywhere. You don't have to worry about it at all. Anywhere you want to go, you can get a train and then like do a 10-minute walk at most to get where you want to go. It's great. I love it. I miss it. And it's one of the reasons I want to go back again. This is so convenient. I still got my Suica card from last time, so I can just charge that up again. But I think that might be all I have for the vacation talk. So I think I might just take a bit of a break here so I can boot up Monster Hunter. I can go for a little walk, take the puppies out maybe. They're kind of laying down right now, so maybe they don't need it, but I'm gonna get up and stretch, prepare for Monster Hunter, and yeah, when we get back, we'll be hunting. It's been a bit. For those on YouTube right now, I'm probably going to end this stream so I can start another one for Monster Hunter. So if you want to stick around, just keep an eye out for that next stream to pop up. And I will see you all in a little bit. I'm going to send you to the BRB screen. Well, I'm going to send Twitch to the BRB screen. I'm going to end the YouTube stream, and I'll be back in just a little bit.